Over the last few years, I've been extremely lucky to meet and learn from some of the greatest magicians, and I want to share some of the invaluable lessons I learned with you. So join me as I travel around the world collecting 3 minutes of incomparable knowledge from some of the best magicians on the planet. This is 3 Minute Thursdays. What's up everyone, Gali Novak here and welcome to my first 3 Minute Thursday. Today I'm in Buffalo, New York and I'm joined by one of my favorite magicians in the entire world, Mr. Garrett Thomas. Garrett, as a student of yours, I know you have endless advice for magicians and artists, but if you had to sum up in 3 minutes what you think is a really important piece of advice for magicians to know, what would that be?
It is a hard thing to sum up because the rabbit hole goes deeper and deeper and there's all different types of advice you need at every stage. But if you're just starting and you want to make big decisions correct, I think any performer, it's all about being authentic and figuring out what you want and then how to give it to people. So I see a lot of magicians that are not just focused on magic and they're focused on other things, but they think they're doing is magic. So it's okay to do comedy magic, but you want to own it. So whatever you choose, the goal is to own it, to figure out what you want and what you want to and how to get there. So if you want to be defined as a magician, it's important to stay focused on magic. Of course, you know, being funny at times and having good stories and stuff like that, and all the other elements of performance is going to be there. You want to focus on the magic. Now if you want to be a comedy magician, well, now you got to be good at comedy and magic. You know, you can't do 50-50, you have to be good at both. So it's okay to do anything. I mean, I personally want to focus on magic. I want to be defined as a magician. So all I do is focus on magic. Do I say funny things? Yes. Do I do things that are juggling and skillful, that are more like artistry? Yes. But it's all mainly focused on magic. And when you figure out what you want, make that a target and own it. You can do it. You can be a magician.
I really agree with that. Just to follow up, how would you make sure, how would someone make sure that magic is really the thing they're focusing on and not something else?
So a good strategy is to reverse engineer it.
Okay.
Right? If at the end of the show, someone only talks about how good looking or beautiful someone is, well then you're a model. If someone leaves your show talking about how funny you are, well, you're a comedian. If someone talks a show about how much that story moved them, well, you're a poet or a storyteller. You want to make sure that what you leave your audience with is magic. And it should be, when you look at it at the end, it should the overall picture should be defined as a magician, if that's your goal. And if it's magic comedy, if that's your goal, then it should be, man, he was so amazing, she was so great, and so funny. Yeah, you know, that needs to be, both needs to be there. If people walk away just laughing, and they forget that you even did magic, well, then you missed the mark if that was your goal, to be a comedy magician. For me, it's just focused on magic, so it makes it easy. I want people to forget the jokes, that they were funny, but that's not the point. How did he do X, Y, and Z?
No, that's amazing advice. I think that was about 3 minutes. Before we finish off, because this series is really about travel as well, I want to finish off and ask you a question about how would you say magic is different in Buffalo versus another city in America or somewhere else in the world? What makes magic unique in Buffalo?
Well, you know, I haven't traveled everywhere, but in Buffalo, we are living in the shadow of an old bar magician named Eddie Fector. We had a bar in Buffalo called the Forks Hotel. And even if you don't know about this, many of you will have heard of a group called 4F. Fechter's Finger Flicking Frolic. The Fechter part was the Eddie Fechter I just mentioned. And it seemed like Eddie took the Chicago style, which was still a performance and a show and a little more elegant. And they had some great bar magicians over there. And he kind of brought it to Buffalo, but he got rid of the suit. You know, he was just in t-shirts and, you know, he looked like a mechanic or just a bartender. You know, that he was a bartender as well. And but his magic, as soon as he touched the deck of cards, it was poetry, it was elegant, and just it was such contrast to this average-looking guy who then all of a sudden did this poetry and was funny, you know. But he really created this conversational style. I call it conversational style, but it just, you know, Eddie often would say, stop with the music, stop with the story, and just do the magic, you know, just focus on the trick. And I really believe that like a David Blaine style would never have evolved without magicians like Eddie Fechter. And you can see it when you see magicians in Western New York. That really is different. It often doesn't feel like a magic show. It just feels like you met a magician.
Well, there you go, guys. That's the first 3 Minute Thursday. I hope you enjoyed it. I will link all of Garrett's social media down in the description below, so keep your eyes peeled. There's really cool content coming. And yeah, just show him some love. He's an amazing, amazing magician. I'm honored to be a student of yours. And I will see you all really soon in the next video. Subscribe, like, comment, all that fun stuff. Bye.